different than what I usually do, but I think it was a lot of fun for me, so I hope it'll be a lot of fun for you. So today, we're going to talk about Protect Your Story. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to start on a fairy tale journey, not about castles and dragons, but about protecting something even more precious, your brain. Stroke is a powerful and often silent villain, particularly for women. But with knowledge and small daily actions, stroke can be prevented. So today is a quest to protect your health, an adventure for every woman here to become the heroine of her own story. Protect your story. Stroke risk prevention and BEFAST. The key, BEFAST. So she already introduced me, but my name is Sharon Biby. I am a nurse practitioner, and I do manage the stroke program for Cone Health. I have advanced training in stroke and multiple certifications in stroke care. So this is not just stroke as my job, this is stroke as my life, because I'm also a woman and I'm also at risk. Today I will serve as your guide as we begin this journey together. So let's begin the story. Once upon a time, there was a woman just like you, busy, capable, caring for everyone else. The heroine in our story, just like every one of us here, deserves a strong mind and a healthy life. But there's a powerful villain we need to be aware of, stroke. The good news is, this is a villain we can defeat together. Today, we embark on a quest. Our quest is about understanding, awareness, and prevention. These are our tools, our magical weapons, to protect our story and ensure it's filled with health and happiness. By the end of the journey today, we'll have the knowledge we need to face this villain head on. Let's step through the looking glass and discover how we can all become the heroines of our own stories. Why this story matters? Let's delve into that. The topic is so crucial. Stroke is not only a medical diagnosis, it's a leading long-term cause of disability among women. Imagine for a moment the impact that has, not just on those affected, but on our family, on our friends, and our communities as well. Stroke steals independence, it steals confidence, and it sometimes even steals our identity. And when one woman is affected, the entire kingdom is affected. Her family, her community, feel it. Now here's something that might surprise you. Women have a lifetime risk of stroke. It affects women of all ages, not just the old. This isn't just a possibility, it's a reality we need to be aware of. But here's the empowering part of the story. Many strokes are preventable. With the right knowledge and actions, we can change the narrative. So why does this story matter? Because it's about us taking control and protecting our health. It's about making informed choices and supporting each other in the journey toward a healthier life. And this is not just about you, it's about me too. This is about us. This story matters because we matter. In fairy tales, magic isn't flashy, it's precise. It works only when used correctly. Knowledge is our spell book. Today's discussion focuses on practical, evidence-based actions that protect our brain health. Today is dedicated to discovering that real magic, simple actions that safeguard our brains. Knowledge is magic. So what is stroke? Stroke, think of it. Think about it as your brain, as the kingdom's library. And it's full of scrolls, and this stroke threatens the scrolls in the library. When blood flow stops, the brain doesn't get oxygen or nutrients, and damage happens quickly. And brain cells, unlike fairy tale characters, do not magically return. That's why stroke is always an emergency. Most strokes are caused by blockages, and bleeding strokes can be even more dangerous. A TIA, we call it a trans-ischemic attack, is a warning bell tolling. It will pass, but it means that a larger stroke could be right behind it. We ignore it in our peril. Approximately 20% of individuals who experience a TIA or stroke will have another stroke. This places life and independence at risk. Our life is at risk. So let's stop and come out of the storybook for just a second and talk about stroke types. There are two types of stroke, hemorrhagic stroke and ischemic stroke. Hemorrhagic stroke is a little less common. Somewhere between 10 and 15% of strokes are hemorrhagic, but they can be more dangerous and more deadly. Ischemic strokes, that's a higher percentage, 80 to 85%, and it's when a blood clot or plaque blocks an artery supplying blood to the brain. Both causes damage to the brain, no matter the cause of no matter the type of stroke it is. So different villains, different outcomes. I'm sorry, same outcome, different villains. Damages the kingdom. Knowing the enemy helps us fight smarter. Let's head back to our story. So why do we focus on women? Women are strong heroines, but even strong heroines must protect themselves. How many times have you ignored your own symptoms because someone else needed you more? We are caregivers and problem solvers, but often that means we put ourselves last. We are more likely to delay seeking help. Stroke symptoms in women can be quieter and easier to dismiss, which can delay treatment. So looking at women in stroke, this part of the story changes as we age. And that's not a weakness, it's just wisdom. Wisdom means adapting our defenses. Let's take a moment to consider some important factors unique to women when it comes to stroke. First, women live longer than men, which means they spend more years at risk for stroke than men do. Additionally, many women find themselves living alone later in life, which can impact their access to immediate help and care. Another crucial point is that after menopause, women often experience higher blood pressure, and this is due to hardening of the arteries that occur naturally as we age, but is a significant risk factor for stroke. These factors underscore the importance of tailored healthcare strategies for women as they age. How can we better support our women to address these risks? How many of you have had your blood pressure checked within the past year? So let's talk about the common villains. The villains, they don't all attack at once. These are villains that chip away at the castle walls, crack by crack, and they're ones we can actually defeat. These are the most common stroke risk factors, things we can control: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, smoking, and I don't mean just cigarettes, inactivity, obesity, poor diet. These things are modifiable with lifestyle changes and medication. Managing blood pressure is especially important because it is the dragon that does the most damage and makes the least noise. And it's the #1 risk factor for stroke. So what are our women-specific villains? Certain villains target women. They lead to unexpected side effects, including an increased risk of stroke. Factors such as pregnancy, which makes you hypercoagulable, meaning your blood is more likely to clot. Birth control pills do similar. Migraine, especially when you combine it with smoking. So migraine and smoking together are very bad. Hormones, autoimmune disease, and menopause. So along with aging, which really aging is our #1 risk factor, we just can't do a lot to control that one. We would rather age than not, right? But these contribute unique risks to women. While these factors do not guarantee a stroke will occur, they highlight the importance of being proactive. Women should engage in open conversation with their healthcare providers about prevention strategies. These are not curses. These are chapters. And chapters, they can be rewritten. So know your numbers. Every heroine knows her tools. Knowing your health numbers gives you power. If you don't know them, ask. This is not something you're expected to guess. Many people don't realize they have high blood pressure or elevated cholesterol until problems occur. So regular checkups are essential. Track your numbers like a treasure, precious and worth guarding. Based on your medical history, these numbers may vary. For women with no history of stroke or cardiac disease, we aim for a blood pressure of 120/80, a total cholesterol of less than 200, LDL less than 100, hemoglobin A1C less than 7. Again, these numbers may change, but it's based on you and what your risk factors are. But movement is magic. Beyond the numbers, physical activity is essential, and it doesn't require grand gestures. Movement doesn't have to be intense or complex. A little daily motion is magic. Engaging in physical exercise helps control your blood pressure, helps control blood sugar levels, and helps to control weight. Small, joyful movements protect the brain, the heart, and even the mood. Consistent small activity can lead to significant benefits. The recommendation is 30 minutes of exercise most days of the week. It doesn't have to be fancy exercise. It doesn't require a gym membership. Get moving, whatever you enjoy. Walk, garden, dance, play with the kids, play with the grandkids. Make it fun. Making it fun makes it more likely that you will do. Fairy tales rarely begin with gym memberships. They begin with walking paths. So feast like royalty. Eat healthy. You'll feel, I get a little tongue-tied. Food fuels the kingdom. Imagine feeding your brain the way you'd feed a queen. Colorful, fresh, and worthy. The closer foods are to their natural state, the better they protect your brain. A healthy diet protects the brain and heart. Encourage colorful plates, like a rainbow, and limit processed foods, which are often high in salt and sugar. But there are things we need to do. We need to get control of our dragons. These habits weaken the castle walls. Support programs work, and asking for help is strength, not a weakness. Manage stress. For sure, manage stress. Smoking is a significant risk factor for stroke, and vaping is not a safe alternative. Quitting at any age will lower your risk for stroke. Alcohol should be limited, as too much can raise blood pressure, and we know that's the #1 risk for stroke, and that increases our stroke risk. So tame the dragons. Asking for help is not surrender, it's strategy. And medications matter. Medications, they are protective spells, but only if used consistently. Medications for blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, or heart rhythm, they protect the brain. Skipping doses or stopping medication without guidance can increase stroke risk. But today I'm going to teach you a spell. It's called the BEFAST spell. This is the most important spell every woman should know. This spell saves lives, and possibly yours, possibly someone you love. BEFAST helps recognize stroke symptoms quickly. The most important step is calling 911 immediately. Do not wait or try to drive yourself to the hospital. So let's go through these one by one. B is for balance. Sudden loss of balance or incoordination is what we're looking for. Eyes, sudden change in vision, double vision, blurry vision, inability to see to one side. Face, sudden weakness of one side of the face. Arm, which is really arm or leg, but sudden weakness of an arm or leg, especially on one side of the body. And then speech, sudden difficulty speaking or understanding. So do you see what is consistent through all of these symptoms? And that's sudden onset. So if you've had a little dizziness, a little trouble seeing, it's been coming on for a couple of weeks, that is not stroke. Stroke is 1 minute you're good, the next minute you're not good. Sudden, hits out of nowhere. So what is T? It's time to call 911. We in the hospital are interested to know what time your symptoms have started. Sometimes symptoms that start are witnessed and seen. Sometimes they're not. It's just good to know when you notice it and when you last saw yourself or your friend or your family member normal. So what are a little different with women? Well, women's have some sudden warning signs that are less common. So not as likely to be seen in a man, though they could be. But women are often taught to doubt themselves. We don't trust our intuition, but in stroke, intuition is a survival skill. Heroines must listen to their intuition. Women may experience less typical stroke symptoms. Women often sense something is wrong before classic symptoms appear. So if you feel that something is wrong, seek emergency care right away. So again, while these symptoms are not exclusive just to women, they are less commonly recognized. Confusion, change in behavior, headache, nausea, vomiting, especially together, fatigue, hiccups that will not go away, new onset seizure when you've never had one before, or pain in one side of your neck. But these warning signs, these are important messages that time is brain, and we need to act with speed. Speed is life. Every minute during a stroke saves brain cells. Faster treatment means less brain damage and better recovery. Calling 911 is always the right choice. Do not drive yourself to the hospital. Do not wait for the spell to wear off. And do not die of embarrassment. Call 911. So how can you prevent stroke in yourself? Every heroine starts somewhere. Choose just one small action you can start this week. One small change this week is better than big plans that never happen. Change done consistently, even small change done consistently, makes a big difference in stroke prevention. Get your blood pressure checked. Go for a walk. Eat at home one night instead of going out. Remove salt from the table. Or speak to your healthcare provider, or maybe your healthcare friend. You just have to pick one, not three, one. So it's never too late to start your journey. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Fairy tales don't end because someone starts late. They end because someone starts. So along the way, they're allies. You are not alone. Every heroine needs allies, even queens. Allies are everywhere. Look around you today. There are blood pressure screenings, there's smoking cessation programs, there's walking and exercise groups, there's doctors and nurses and providers of all shapes and sizes. There are women's health centers and women's clinics, and there are community resources like this event today. So learn more, reach out, join your allies. Now all of this we talked about is wisdom to carry home. Your health is the kingdom you rule. These are the lessons to carry forward and to share with others. We know that 80%, huge number, they're preventable if you just do what we talked about. Tiny changes have big impact. And be fast. Focus on prevention, preventable, powerful, possible. But remember, any sudden onset of any of these symptoms, this is when you call 911. Remember, be fast. Because if you call 911 and you come to the hospital, there are some things we can do. So we want to make sure you're eligible for those treatments. We have IV thrombolytics, super duper clot busters that we can give within 4.5 hours of onset of stroke symptoms. We have wires that can go into your groin, up to your brain, and pull clots out. We can open up blockages. But this has only got a 24-hour window. So back to time. Time is imperative. It's an emergency. So I'm grateful for your participation in this quiz. Don't you love the thing? Stroke is not a children's fairy tale. This is a survival story. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. I'm pleased to have warned you about the stroke villain and equipped you with the spells and weapons needed to conquer the dragon. It was a joy to guide you throughout this adventure. So as Queen of Stroke in Greensboro and Hometown, I urge you to battle with all your strength. So protect your crown. I'm going to work on protecting mine, and let's protect each other. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have.